Well, as a wife and mother and any other title that you may have, it can be really hard just to try to balance it all. And did you know that the stress of juggling the tasks and activities of everyday life can literally make you sick, literally? Well, the American Medical Association reports that stress contributes to 80 to 85% of all diseases and medical conditions. According to our next guest, this type of stress is toxic. Joining us this morning as part of our My Health series to tell us more about toxic stress and how to fight it is Dr. Marilyn Varco. Good morning to you. Pleasure to have you with us here on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
I've heard of stress, right? And I've heard of distress, but not toxic stress. What is it? What do you mean by that?
When I did the research for my book, Toxic Stress, 7 Steps to Recovery, I really looked into how is stress different? How can stress really cause symptoms that are really dangerous to your health and well-being? And so I termed toxic stress as one in which the stress is prolonged and difficult to the point that it can actually wear you down and cause some disease, not feeling well, not feeling your best. Right, and it's just kind of a gradual burnout.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because as I was thumbing through the book, I found it very fascinating because you list a lot of steps to recovery, but here's the thing: how do you even know that you have toxic stress? How do you identify it?
Yeah, usually you're not really feeling yourself, or you may come down with some illnesses and see your family physician, and he says, you know, there really is, you know, you're healthy and well. You're just dealing with a lot of stress and having some symptoms that really may not be medically based. So, you know, maybe you're not sleeping right, maybe you're having difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, maybe having some changes in diet, and maybe lots of fatigue. So there's lots of different symptoms that can let you know that you're really not feeling your best, and maybe you need to see your physician to see if you're really functioning as you would like to.
So let me ask you this, because you may be having a really stressful time in your life that may lead to some toxic stress, right? But how do you know that it's chronic, and what are some of the effects of chronic toxic stress?
Well, what we know is that in the stress response, we release stress hormones like cortisol, and that begins to rage through your body. You really have that stressed response, and that will gradually wear down your immune system, and you'll begin to feel the fatigue, you'll begin to feel the cortisol working in terms of, you know, really keeping you really stressed out, as people come into me and say, you know, I'm stressed out. So it's kind of a general term.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. My 9-year-old came home the other day and he's like, Mommy, I'm stressed. I'm like, what the heck? You're 9 years old. What do you have to be stressed about? I've got this test and I want to ace it. And you know what? It was cute. It was fun. It lasted an hour and he was good after that. But what about seeing some of these signs of toxic stress, even in our kids?
Yeah. I mean, our lives are so busy, and sometimes we ourselves run such busy lives that some of our toxic stress wears on our own children because they sense it. I mean, they're in the same environment, they feel the same way. And so we've got to beware that, you know, if we're feeling stressed, you know, our children are going to feel it too.
So how do we manage it?
There's lots of ways that you can really try to manage your stress. You want to really stay in control of your life and not allow it to be controlling you. You really want to be able to incorporate in your life some healthy habits. Definitely exercise has been proven to be really effective. Eating right, sleeping right. You know, when we're under a lot of stress, we run this really ragged schedule, and it just slowly burns us out. So engaging in some pleasurable activities, taking time out to do things that you enjoy doing, really just being able to relax.
Now, what happens if you've done that and it doesn't work, at least not for the long term, and you do need to seek professional help? What kinds of resources or programs are out there?
Certainly, there are a lot of mental health professionals that would be available, and you can find these resources through your local mental health association. I'm on the board of the Mental Health Association of Southwest Florida, and we have activities, we have groups, events. If you check with your local mental health association, I think you'll find that they have resources for you to utilize.
Well, Dr. Varco, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this really important information with our viewers.
Thank you.
And if you'd like more information about toxic stress and how to combat it, simply go to the website MarilynVarco.com.